After one of the toughest tracks we've driven, we finally get back to camp to meet Hamish and Sarah. We're not so sure Sarah is going to take Angus's title of MVP on the trails, but it's good to have her on board. The trucks took an absolute hammering through that overgrown magnet track, so before we head off, we've got some minor repairs to attend to.
The valve got pushed through in that bog hole,
Yeah.
and then it's lost all its pressure.
Push it back off the bead, take the tyre off, see if we can find the valve stem, put it back on.
One thing we didn't have in our tyre repair kit was spare valve stems, so after a bit of a hunt around Waratah, we managed to get a hold of a few to add to it. Cradle Mountain was the next destination, and to be honest, well, we'll let Matt tell you about that one.
Well, the relaxing day at Cradle Mountain turned into a treacherous 6-kilometre hike, which almost killed me, so it wasn't quite what I was expecting. But we survived it, and now we're just trying to find a campsite.
I need to just have a look at some things here.
The bracket that holds it to the car, it's only one bolt that holds the bracket to the car and just comes loose.
Yeah.
Pretty shitty design actually.
Yeah. Just heard a noise and got under the patrol here and happened to notice the shock that's been causing some grief before we left. Nick had to send it away to get repaired. Just had some minor issues with the repair job. Nothing serious, but happens to be that one.
See if they find somewhere in Hobart that sells them. If you, worst case, they'd be somewhere.
Ring up in advance, see if they might get one. Or be able to get the parts.
Neither of these issues are showstoppers, so after we remove one of the sway bar links, we're off to find camp. In the morning, we're hitting the trek into Montezuma Falls. It's a reasonable hike, so it'll be an early start. Here's hoping the welcoming drinks for Sarah don't escalate.
What did you say when I asked you about fluids, Hamish? I don't use fluids, doesn't go through oil.
I did say that, Nick. Yes, I did. Bit of liquid coming out.
Bit of juice, bit of bloody juice.
As we pull up for some lunch in
Sweats
Zion,
up, eh?
Hamish spots a leak from the transfer case in his nav. Conveniently, we'd pulled up right next to the local mechanic, so he books it in for the following day. With camp only down the road at Granville Harbour, he topped up the fluid level and will bring it back in tomorrow to fit the new seals.
Plan today, Marco?
We are hitting up Climies Tack, mate. Pretty excited. Actually difficult.
Airing down,
So yeah,
back to the camp.
got the air out. It's not far from here, a couple k's. Disconnect the sway bar.
You need a wobble.
I need a wobble.
It's basically a track between Granville Harbour and Trial Harbour. It's meant to be reasonably well known, so we'll just see how it goes, and then we'll do a loop around on the main road and pick up Hamish's car. Hopefully it's done.
It's only a matter of a few kilometres from our beachfront accommodation and we're straight into the famous Climies Tack. This has been on the list for some time now, so we're hoping it lives up to its reputation. We're attacking Climies from Granville Harbour to Trial Harbour, but it can be done in either direction. Not far up the track, and we like what we've found. It's good to see the patrol suspension doing what it's paid to do. So far we haven't encountered anything too crazy. Just pick a good line, and with a bit of suspension travel, there's been no dramas. It's all very slow going, so unlike previous tracks we've hit this one early in the day. This should leave us enough time to pull up for lunch and get back to camp at a decent hour. Climies Tack follows the coast, which offers incredible views the entire time. From mud, ruts, rocky sections and even water crossings, Climies offers a range of terrains which is rarely found on a single track. It really is starting to tick all those boxes. And boy have we been lucky with today's weather. More often than not, this coast will be getting smashed by some harsh conditions, but today the sun is shining with a gentle sea breeze.
Back wheels just about dropped.
After another water crossing with a reasonably steep exit, the track turns to constant low-range ruts, which demand careful wheel placement, especially for the IFS Hilux that loves a wheel lift. The Patrol, on the other hand, being a solid axle front end, can keep all four wheels on the ground. With both systems having their pros and cons, the argument of which is better will never die. This is what we've been waiting to see this whole time. One of Australia's most iconic water crossings, and possibly one of the most dangerous too. With no room for error, thanks to a cliff edge on the right hand side, this has to be taken seriously, and a spotter is essential. And just to top it off, the vehicle wants to lean towards the cliff due to the angle of the rocks.
Hang on, bro. Hang on.
Nick slips straight away due to having wet tyres after the water crossing. Agreeing with Hamish's advice, Nick chooses to go back slightly and adjust his line to the left.
I think you want to jump over this way.
With Nick making it through, he drives up and turns around, because if we want to get a winch out quickly, we don't want to be wasting time, it's just got to be ready to go. This one's not for the faint-hearted, and there is a bypass if this isn't your idea of a good time, or if the water's flowing too fast. But with careful wheel placement, you should be fine, even if you are shaking in the driver's seat.
I don't know about that. You got a long time before that tyre's going to pop up, man.
Get some rocks under there.
Yeah.
As we move forward, we're back in the ruts, and they're not getting any smaller either. We find ourselves using a spotter for most of the big holes, just to prevent slipping sideways and causing avoidable damage. After hours of low-range wheeling, this has been an epic trail. When it comes to exploring this country, Climies is one of those must-do tracks. As we climb toward Trial Harbour, the end is in sight. From here, we're heading back to Zion to pick up the Navara from a mechanic. Then it's back to Granville, sit around the campfire under the stars.